And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the show. My name is Dana Devine. I am the Community Engagement and Communications Manager for the Metropolitan Chicago Breast Cancer Task Force. Yay! We're not-for-profit right here in Chicago, and we service the Metropolitan Chicagoland area, and with one single purpose in mind, which is to make sure every woman has a mammogram, especially if you're over 40. Definitely if you're under 40 and you have symptoms. And the very good news is this: you can call our office and we will help you schedule your free mammogram any day, anytime. The number is right there, 312-942-3368. You can stop by the website, chicagobreastcancer.org. The email is info@chicagobreastcancer.org. There's our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram. We're everywhere you want to be on social media. This may not be information for you. You maybe have just scheduled your mammogram, or maybe you went last week. But if you know somebody, if your entrepreneurial cousin who does not have insurance needs some support, well, there you go. Here's the information. We're a call-in show. That means if you have something to say, then this is the place to say it. The number to call is 312-738-1060. 312-738-1060. That's right. Okay. We're in, June. We are halfway through the year. We started the year out talking about how important it is to screen annually and take care of yourselves, because nobody else is going to do it. You can't deny verify. So each month now we've checked off if you have had a birthday month in January, February, March, April, May, or now June. You should probably have scheduled your annual examinations. That's pap smear, your mammograms, your annual physical. Great way to do it. Schedule it in your birthday month, then you never miss your appointment. Okay, well, 312 again, 738-1060 if you have something to say, if you want to join this conversation. We're live and we're talking about women who have turned lemons into lemonade, and we have all done that in some way, shape, or form. Our life throws us curveballs, and we have learned how to dodge and move and dodge. Well, this next guest is no exception. Let's see. Let me introduce her, even though you're looking at her, but she's very beautiful, and she is a 2-time breast cancer survivor. Woo! Yes. I don't have any any tracks. This is live and anything can happen. And today we don't have our clap track, but I'm going to clap for you. Yeah, because you deserve a hand clap on that one. Eva Kennedy.
Yes.
From Chicago.
Yes.
Gorgeous.
Thank you.
You walk down the street, nobody is looking at you.
Thank you.
Thinking you have been through hell.
Yes.
A couple of times.
Yes.
But here you are. You are a professional woman. You're very accomplished. I know that you took an early retirement after your second diagnosis, but you've had a long career at Allstate.
Yes.
Now, tell me what you did at Allstate.
Well, first of all, I came to Chicago in 1995. I was relocated here from the East Coast.
Okay.
And when I left Allstate Insurance Company, I was a claims director.
Okay.
And been with the company for 29 years. I know I'm dating myself.
No, but you don't look like it.
Yeah, I had been with the company for 29 years, had not planned on retiring, but after having a second diagnosis within 5 years, I started to focus more on my health and less on the job, so I knew it was time for me to go.
Okay. Yeah. So your first diagnosis was, and we'll get right into it, because I just believe the best story is a true story.
Yeah.
And so I believe that your testimony might be the most important thing you ever say out your mouth, because you never know who you're going to bless with your words. So that's why we're here. That's why Eva's here. That's why you should call 2 friends right now and tell them to tune in, and let's get this story started. Okay, so Eva.
Yes.
Talk to me. When did it start?
1998. I had gone for my mammogram. My annual mammogram is always in November, and it's still in November. Okay, even to this day, I have my annual mammogram, and they felt a little lump, and of course I had a lumpectomy, and I got the call, Here's the thing, it was right over the Christmas holiday. And when I had the surgery, the doctor said, I'm going on holiday, but I'm sure it's nothing because I'd had the mammogram and they didn't think it was anything, but we're going to take it out anyway. So I got the call, and here's the call that I got. It was at a payphone, 1998, I'm getting my hair done. I call, and I couldn't get a hold of anybody. I'm going to make this real quick. Long story short, the secretary called me back. And she said, I have good news and bad news. The good news is you have breast cancer. No, the bad news is you have breast cancer. The good news is it's the best kind to have. And that was it. Didn't hear from anybody until about 7 days because it was right before Christmas and everybody was going on holiday. So I spent 7 days not knowing and have a history of cancer in my family. And that was probably one of the longest periods in my life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
7 days. So she said, okay, she gave you that news, the curveball, and hung up?
And hung up. That was it. Because it was holiday. Everybody was out. And I had to wait until the beginning of the year to find out from my doctor when he came back on holiday. But to her point, the good thing is that I had to have radiation treatment, and that was it. I had to go through 6 or 7 weeks. I think it was 6 weeks, 5 days a week of radiation treatment. And that was it.
Okay, 1998. Let me do
2003.
This is the second one.
This is the second one. And because I have a history of cancer in my family, someplace long time ago, I heard that if it doesn't come back in 5 years, you're a survivor. So I had been counting. I'm getting through this 5 years. If I can get through the 5 years, it's a done deal. Had my mammogram 2002 in November, like I always do. 2003, April, I feel a little small lump in my breast. It was so small, it was about the size of a kernel of corn. That's how small it was. So ladies, self-examination is important because remember, I just had my mammogram in November, so now we're talking April, and I feel this little lump the size of a kernel of corn. Had I not been sensitive of my own body, I probably would have missed it. And I waited. And I waited a little while, and of course I went in, I called my doctor.
Well, how long's a little while?
July, I think. June or July I went in.
So from January to June?
No, April. I waited a little longer. I should have gone immediately because it was a little sore. But I have and had a group of doctors, and because of my history, they brought me in right away. I've never had to wait for an appointment, primarily because of my family history as well. So, and the doctor said, I don't think it's spread. But the first time I was diagnosed, it was inside the breast walls, and inside. But this time, this time the breast was exposed, and even though it was really, really small, she said that the entire breast is at risk at this point. And so it's like, okay, what we're gonna do? Let's take this out and roll with it. But of course, that wasn't the case. It was a lot more invasive than that.
So your first round, you did a lumpectomy.
Yes.
And for those of you who don't know what that is, they just remove a portion of the breast, and usually you have radiation treatment.
Exactly, that's what I had.
So they remove a portion of your breast, and you have probably 30 days of radiation treatment?
Yeah, I went 5 days a week. It was either 6 weeks for 6 or 7 consecutive weeks. This was at the beginning of '99 because I was diagnosed in '98.
So your reoccurrence was in the same breast?
The same breast, and that was a blessing. That was a blessing, and it had not spread because I caught it in time, and that's why it's so important based on what you're just speaking to the group, is if you have any inkling, it's time for you to go to get that mammogram, because if they catch it in time, it had not spread to the lymph nodes.
Which is, again, early detection saves lives 99% of the time.
Yeah.
Don't deny, verify. So your second go around, the same medical team?
Same medical team. I had a different medical surgeon, only because my medical surgeon had moved, but it was the same team in essence, yes.
So you did have the team approach.
Yes.
Which is the new, I won't say buzzword, but it's the new way that women are going through the process, which means you were there with your oncologist,
yes,
your radiologist, your...
and I had reconstructive surgery. So I had a reconstructive team.
Right.
Yeah, and then you have your breast surgeon. Yeah, so you have a team.
Right, and they all meet.
Right.
And discuss you. So the studies are suggesting the team approach tends to have a more favorable result.
Yes.
For women, which is why we advocate for the team approach for the women who come through our agency. And again, I'm going to put this up, the Metropolitan Chicago Breast Cancer Task Force, just because, you said if you feel anything, don't wait. And that somebody might have just been moved by that. 312-942-3368, www.chicagobreastcancer.org. So we're here with Eva Kennedy. She is a 2-time survivor, right here from Chicago. Had a team approach. The difference between your diagnosis the first time and second time, was there a more difficult process, or was one I don't even know what the word is. One hill, one mountain. Was one mountain harder to scale than the other mountain?
Yes, definitely, because when the second time around, when you go in, and what happened with the second time, I had the mammogram and they said it's benign, but my doctor, this is again the team approach, my doctor said, no way, I don't care, it's coming out. She says that lump is coming out. Again, based on my family history, because I also had a maternal aunt with breast cancer, and she waited and waited. And I think at that particular time, she didn't have health insurance. And eventually it came back and spread throughout her body, and within 5 years she passed away. But my doctor said it's coming out. So I go in on a Wednesday, and she removed the little lump. I'm home recovering on a Friday. I answer the phone. It's her. It's my doctor on the phone. So when your doctor calls, it's like, when it's good news, the nurse calls.
Right.
When it's more invasive, the doctor calls. So when she called and I answered the phone, I automatically knew something was wrong. And because
take a deep breath now, just that feeling.
Yeah, and the breast was already distorted based on the fact that they had removed tissue from the breast. And she said, now, of course, I'm like, well, what are we going to do? And she said, well, of course, the recommendation is you have a mastectomy. And of course, my first reaction, you're not taking my breast, so you need to find something else. And that was it.
Well, let me stop you right there. Why did you say that? Well, I mean, why did you feel so attached to your breast that when she suggested that this is a great way to keep you living, that it still...
Because I had to process it. I mean, it was just my first reaction. And that happens, I believe, sometimes. Denial. And partially, again, because his cancer runs in my family, so I'm automatically thinking, no, you're not going to do this to me. But I can tell you, by the end, I was calling them like, when is that appointment? When is the surgery? Because I had to process it. I was emotional. It's a very emotional time. It was for me, and I wasn't prepared for it. So but again. In denial, but doing my research and then understanding, and now realizing I want to live. So by that time, by the time of the surgery, I think I was harassing them for a date versus them calling me.
Right. And when I was diagnosed, I just felt like, let's get this out of here.
Yeah.
I wanted to go. And so I would just imagine maybe the second time I'd be like, okay, wait a minute, let's get this gone, let's get this tissue going. But I do think that the women are very attached to their breasts. And it can, for me, it was not like that.
Yeah.
And I know that is not for everybody. So backing up there, but I just, I want to say, no,
But I
you're
think-
going to get some more.
No, but I think there's a big difference now between 2003 and 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot more education. I think
Right.
people are talking about it more.
Right.
You know, there's a lot more education about breast cancer. Again, people are talking about it more. There are different types of tests. There are different types of approaches. You know, you talk about the team approach. I was blessed enough to have a team approach at that time.
Right.
But I think now women are talking about it more, and you meet more women. I think, and I don't know the statistics, but women are probably being diagnosed at a faster pace today than they were in 2003. I don't know, maybe that's just my thing, but yeah, I just wasn't prepared emotionally.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure, now for sure, every day,
Yeah.
all of us are being touched more and more frequently by somebody with cancer.
Yeah.
We all know.
Yes.
Most of us pretty much know somebody that has been diagnosed with cancer. So it's definitely on our front door steps. And what are we going to do about it? But you said, I waited and waited and waited.
I waited a little while because I just had the mammogram. Remember, I had a mammogram in November, so this is like, maybe, I'm saying April, maybe March. So wasn't prepared. I didn't think it was going to happen.
Something 4 months later.
Yeah.
And I'm going to piggyback on that because I had been to the doctor in June and found a little knot like that in October, June, July, September.
See, right.
So, 4 months. And what we're saying is months matter. Time makes a difference. So just like you thought, I had just been 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Nah, I thought the very same thing. So ladies, you cannot deny, verify. The smallest sign or symptom or something doesn't feel right, look right, know you're normal.
Right.
That is the day you make your phone call. And go ahead.
Yeah, self-examination, I don't care when you go. Self-examination, and this is something I learned a long time ago. Self-examination is so important. Get to know your body, because your body will tell you too when something's off. It will. It could be
will.
something, your hair, your nails, the color of your eyes, your skin, the dryness, something. But self-examination is so important. And get to know, whether you have fatty tissue, non-fatty tissue, but know where the fatty tissues are in your breast. Know what your breasts feel like, and underneath your arms. I think that is so important. You have to be an advocate for yourself, and it starts with you knowing your own body.
Yes, and ladies, it starts younger and younger. There was a study that just came out of the task force that suggests that African American women between the ages of 20 and 29 are still at a very high risk of mortality, much higher than their white
Right,
counterparts, like 157%. And a lot of that is because there's no young woman between 20 and 29 is really thinking about getting a mammogram. It's just not the protocol until 40. So that's why knowing your breast and being self-breast aware is so very important.
Right. And that goes back to the point that I just made. There's a lot more information now than it was then, because this is a recent study, right?
Yes.
That it's saying women, African American women, are being diagnosed at a much earlier age.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's
With
so
a more
much
aggressive cancer.
Yeah. So there's so much more information out there. Again, you have to be an advocate for yourself, especially if you have a history of it in your family, and even if you don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm very skeptical about throwing numbers out. I want to say there's a high percentage of women who have no history of breast cancer in their families and are being diagnosed today. So 80%, I think, so it's high.
Yeah.
And so just because it's never happened in your family, don't let that be the reason that you don't go to the doctor.
Right. And the other thing too, breast cancer doesn't have to kill you either. If early detection is so
Saves
important,
lives.
because a lot of times what we think is, I don't want to go because I don't want to have to deal with the outcome just in case. But early detection is so important, and breast cancer doesn't have to kill you, especially if it has not spread to other organs.
That's right. So lifestyle change, Eva. What changed in your life? Did you have a major lifestyle change after you were diagnosed, after one or two? Or both?
Well, what was interesting is that after the cancer came back the second time, between 1998 and 2003, I was like living with the cancer in the back of my mind, trying to get through the 5 years. And when it came back the second time, I started to look at my life differently. I started to think more about me. I was literally married to my job, and I traveled all the time. Great lifestyle, but very, very stressful work. And I started to look at my life differently. And to the point when the company offered a buyout to anybody in 2006, I took it, because I realized then you can stay on this job and continue to live and be stressed out, although it provides a great opportunity. You can walk away and focus more on your health, and that's what I did. So it was a major change. I left the job. Gave up the corporate job. Yeah.
You know, and I always ask this question: can you think of any major, any traumatic experience that had happened prior, maybe 2 years prior to your diagnosis?
It's funny you should say that, because I had one of the most challenging jobs in my career 2 years before that, for 2 consecutive years, where I literally worked 7 days a week. I would go out to dinner on Saturday nights with my friends and literally fall asleep at the dinner table in a restaurant. And I hadn't thought about that before.
I have my own Dana Divine study that of women, and really just that I interviewed like 20 women, and all of them had.
That's a great observation.
Within 2 years of that diagnosis, something.
I mean, I was working really hard, the hardest I've ever worked.
So you gave that up, and you're still here. So you have an organization, One Evolution.
Yes.
I love your name, One Evolution. Tell us about that.
I have a coaching boutiquing firm, and I'll just tell you really quickly. I started this because once I left the corporate world, I didn't know what to do with myself. I gave myself permission to take 5 years off, and then I got stuck. I didn't know what to do with myself. I'd worked for the company for 29 years. That's all I knew. I was defined by it. I got stuck. And to help me move forward, I went to become a life coach. And as a result, I was coached and was able to tap into my own personal emotions, which allowed me to move forward. And that's why I started my business, One Evolution.
And tell us what your business.
I'm a life coaching, and my focus really is on women in life transitions. And what I mean by that, women that are at that point in their life where they're seeking a more meaningful and purposeful life. They are looking for more out of life. They're tired of living the status quo. And what I do is I help women create clarity, help them really define what their vision is, and then help them build actionable steps or have actionable strategies and steps so they can truly live the life that they want. Because so many of us mask so much. And what happens sometimes, we mask so much, we lose who we really are.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And so all the suppression, and we just keep on layering it on.
Yeah.
And then you get dis-ease.
Yeah.
You're not at ease.
And then one of the things, real quickly, what you said, the name of the show, Make Lemon Out of Lemonade.
Yes, from lemons to lemonade.
And breast cancer was part of my evolution. It was part of my life to get me to where I am today. So I was able to make lemonades out of lemon. And I like to think of it in terms of everything that we go through.
It's for a blessing.
It's for a blessing.
So yeah, you don't want to say breast cancer bless me. However, I understand what you're saying. You know, that the fire that you went through.
Right. Yes.
That you are now gold, and
and
it has purified you.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you are lemonade. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Yes.
Well, Eva Kennedy, thank you so much for sharing your testimony. I know somebody heard your words. Somebody's been motivated to call the Metropolitan Chicago Breast Cancer Task Force, 312-942-3368. Stop by our website, ChicagoBreastCancer.org. We are waiting to help you get your mammogram today. So you can stop and call right now. If you need to pass that number on, please do that. We're celebrating on June 21st our annual gala celebration at the Fairmont Hotel in the Millennium Park. Stop by our website for more information for that if you want to hang out. I want to thank our producer Donna Lynn Schaefer, our music producer Maurice Joshua, Grammy winner. I'm Dana Divine, your community engagement and communications manager for the Metropolitan Chicago Breast Cancer Task Force. Thank you for watching. Make sure you join us next month on the third Tuesday of the month at 5 p.m. We'll be right here. And thank you, Eva Kennedy, for stopping by. One Evolution solution. If you need some help getting your life together, she has been through it.
Yes.
She can help you. Again, if you need some support, 312-942-3368. Thank you so much for joining us.